All right, guys, for your assignment today, you should have already watched the first lesson video where I introduced you to the different types of triangles. And you actually have 3 notebook pages attached to your assignments today. So there's this one first here, classify by angles. And this is just the same information that I had on our anchor chart that I did in the first video. Again, if these are your notebook pages, so if you want to cut out and paste them into your math notebook, you can do that. If not, you can just use them digitally. So you have this one that reminds you about the different types of angles or triangles to classify by angles. You have this one that reminds you about the different types of triangles as we classify by their sides. And then the last one that you have linked is this one. And what this does is it kind of walks you through steps to take to determine what type of triangle it is. So you'll see it asks you start at number 1, it asks you a question. Whether you answer yes or no, it tells you what to do. So if you answer yes, then you've decided that it is a right triangle. If you'd answered no, then you've decided that you go to step 2. So then you come down here to step 2. Ask yourself that question, answer it, and based on your answer, you follow the directions given. Okay, so we're going to do some of these together. I am in my math book on page 831, so I'd like for you to get there as well for some example problems. So I'll give you a second to get there. Page 831 in your math book, and we're going to look at questions number 1 through 3 together. Okay, so the directions, mine's zoomed in, but I'm not going to zoom out for you because I can't do that. But the directions for numbers 1 through 3 that we're going to be working with say classify each triangle by its sides and then by its angles. So each triangle we see here, we're going to have 2 classifications for it. And the Google form that you have today as your assignment, you are also going to be classifying by the sides and the angles. So for each triangle on your Google form today, you should have 2 answers, or you should select 2 answers. So let's look at number 1, the orange triangle we have here. So we're first going to classify by sides. So I'm going to scroll down here. There's 2 different sections on this math notebook. The top section is classify by angles, and the bottom section is classify by sides. So I'm going to start right here. Question number 1. Does the triangle have 3 equal sides? Well, this side is not equal to this side, and this side is longer than all 3, or the other 2. So I don't think I have any equal sides, let alone 3. So my answer is no. So I'm going to go to step 2. Does the triangle have only 2 equal sides? Well, I determined that all 3 sides are different lengths. So I'm going to say no and go to step 3. Step 3 says, does the triangle have no equal sides? Yes, that's what I determined when I made my markings. So that is a scalene. Okay, if the triangle doesn't have the markings, like you can see on number 2, they have markings for us. But if it doesn't have the markings, I like to mark it myself to help me determine what type of triangle it is and whether the sides are equal or not. Okay, so we did by the sides. Now we have to classify by angle. So I'm going to go up to the top section of classifying by angles. And number 1 says, does the triangle have a right angle 90 degrees? Well, this triangle has a square down in the corner, and we know that that square down in the corner tells me that that's a right angle. So my answer to question number 1 would be yes. So if I answer yes, then I don't have to go on, and I know it is a right triangle. My handwriting is terrible right now. Right triangle. There we go. Okay, so let's look at number 2. We're going to do the same thing. So let's classify by sides first. So number 2, I see a hash mark here and a hash mark here. So those 2 are equal to each other. So then that tells me this one is different if it's not marked. And I like to mark it myself. So does the triangle have 3 equal sides? No, I determined that it has 2 equal sides. So if I answer no, I go to step 2. Does the triangle have only 2 equal sides? Yes, it does. So if I answer yes, then that is an isosceles triangle. All right, so I don't need to go on to step number 3. I already determined it is isosceles. I always spell isosceles wrong. I skipped an S. There we go. Isosceles. All right, now we're going to classify by angles. All right, so does the triangle have a right angle? I do not have a square in any of my corners, so I'm going to answer no. Go to step 2. Does the triangle have an obtuse angle? Well, it's kind of hard to tell on this angle whether this one at the top is obtuse or acute. So what I like to do, if I have a paper, I will turn my paper so that I have, and I'm doing that with my Chromebook right now, so that I have one of the sides is straight across. And then what I like to do is I like to draw my line that would be a right angle. So that's my right angle right there. It goes straight up from the corner. Okay, so there's a right angle. So if that's a right angle and this is my side here, then I know that's more than a right angle. So what type of angle is more than 90 degrees? Well, that's going to be an obtuse angle. So that tells me that this is obtuse. So I'm going to answer yes, it is obtuse. If I answer yes, then that means it's an obtuse triangle. All right. So let's go on to number 3. First, we classify by sides. I notice that I have one hash mark through each side. Remember, that tells me they are all equal to each other. They are the same length. So, does the triangle have 3 equal sides? Yes, it does, because I just determined that it has a hash mark through each side. So that tells me that it is equilateral. So I'm going to label it equilateral. And now I'm going to classify by angle. Does the triangle have a right angle? Nope, it doesn't have a right angle. I don't see any squares in any of my angles. So no, I go to step 2. Does the triangle have an obtuse angle that is greater than 90 degrees? Well, here are my 3 angles. Those all look like they're definitely smaller than a right angle, which would be that. So none of them are obtuse because they're smaller than 90 degrees. So then I'm going to go to step 3. Does the triangle have 3 acute angles? Well, yes. So all 3 of those are less than 90 degrees. So if I answer yes to question number 3, that tells me it is acute. Okay. So that's how we classify triangles by both the sides and the angles. You're going to be doing this in the Google form assignment that you have. I believe there are 7 questions, and for each question, you are going to choose 2 options. So you're going to choose either right, obtuse, or acute for its angles, and then you're going to choose a second one, and you're going to choose either equilateral, isosceles, or scalene based on its sides.